Whoa, hello, and welcome to the podcast. We have good brother and fellow mensch, Mr. Eli Weber, Eli Weber, aka Kabbalah Guru, with us in the new year. And we're going to be getting all of his updates and insights as to what's been going on in his world, his observable reality, and also sharing our updates as we always do. So if you're new to the podcast, please do like, subscribe, and share as it helps the channel grow and lets others that are new get the knowledge you're being afforded. How are you today, good sir? Good morning.
I'm great. I'm feeling good. It's nice. We survived a big wind. I know you probably I think it started in California, but last night we had I think there was 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts, and the whole RV was shaking. But Baruch Hashem, thank God, we're in one piece today, and nothing really got destroyed in the wind, thank God. And we're just feeling good, just moving forward.
Yeah, you look good. Yes, thank you, Yeshua HaMashiach, because we had pretty heavy winds here last night, and as I was telling you offline, the fires are pretty intense north of us. The Getty Center is burning, and they're trying to cover that up, but that's not going to work. It's just going to reveal the truth. They can still capture all that forensic evidence, all that pedophilia and sex trafficking that's been going on underneath those tunnels for years is now starting to show itself. And what a coincidence! 12 days before President Trump comes back in.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you look at the idea of game theory, it's the bad guys doing something with one intention, and a different result is coming out, a good result, but because those places have to be destroyed.
Well, yeah, of course they do. And excuse me, there's a 2,900 acre burn in Pacific Palisades, which is just by Venice and Santa Monica Pier and all that area. I'll bet you that's a land grab 100%. They're definitely doing some manipulation there. P. Diddy's home is up in that area. So there's a lot that's going to come out, to your point.
I don't think they're going to be around to grab any land. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I think they're going down big time, and
Yeah.
they're just ignoring us. I saw a film on X that I reposted on my channel, which is E Webstar 13 on X. This woman, it was about a 16-minute clip, described in detail all the laws, for the last like 100 years, all the things they did. We have been in a state of war. The government, the whole dark demonic force, the satanic force, has been trying to kill us, and they're just stepping up. They've been stepping up their forces lately, but she chronicles it in terms of laws passed in Congress. They would change a law if the people found out about it. They would cancel the law and then make another law 3 days later that was worse. It's just the level of deprivation, the level of this war. It's like we all of us are kind of thinking like, well, it's going to be this. I mean, me with investment, I'm like, I put some money into crypto yesterday, and Donald J. Trump, so I'm trying to keep like kind of a normal thing, idea with this, but this is a war for the survival of humanity. There's nothing, nothing can really correctly express the magnitude of what's going on before us. So you're watching, Nero burning his own city. I mean, it's colossal, and nothing can stop what's coming. This has been a long-term plan. And it's my belief that these creepazoids that are literally trying to kill humanity will be killed themselves.
Oh, 100%. I don't think they're going to get away with the land grab. I just meant I think that's what they would like, the narrative they, want to project is that they're in control, but it's actually just the inverse. And so that brings me to a question I had for you, which I was just having yesterday with SG and on the 19th, President Trump has a rally, unprecedented before an inauguration, at least in my lifetime. I don't know about you. It happens to be National Popcorn Day. So I'm just curious to get your take on what do you think he's going to share with the public?
I think he's going to reveal the depths of this conflict. That it's not just, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Q posts involved with January 19th, so that we have a lot of warning about this state. And you know, it's a very big thing. But I think I think he has to just come out and really tell the people what is going on here, and for them to understand the magnitude of this war against, you know, the survival. They're trying, literally, I mean, with the vaccines, with this, with that, with the
Mhm.
chemtrails now. By the way, it seems to me we've been watching, even out here in the Mojave Desert, we're in the mountains. Even out here, we've been seeing tremendous chemtrails and chemical manipulation of the weather, and putting,
Mhm.
who knows what they're putting up there. But today, I'm not seeing anything. There was a big wind, like I said yesterday. It seems to me that it could be that the galactic forces are in control and not afraid to show themselves, because we're seeing different clouds than we've ever seen before, and they're not chemtrails.
Yeah, we've seen a few chemtrails here. I saw it before I took off for family, so I noticed they were crisscrossing again, and then they dissipated. Maybe that was setting this up because you have back east where we're both from, you have this. Even they always have snow, but this unusual precipitous pace, and it's making its way all the way down the southern border through my future home in Tennessee, and then you have the fires over here, which this is typically our rainy season. So everything is, upside down, right side up before, he comes back in. And so there's just a lot of crisscrossing going on. But ultimately, to your point, it's going to be for our good. We have to, as the old expression goes, weather the storm.
Right. And I think it's really a matter of that we have to wake up. As a species, we have to say, you know, it's not like, well, you know, my boss was hard on me and he told me if I didn't get back. I mean, I lost my job, but
Right.
you know, we have to understand that our whole reality, our whole everything we've been taught is basically a lie.
100%. And that's going to be an easier pill for some to swallow than others, but we have to go through this, cross the Rubicon together. So um, what is your, before I go into my usual stuff, what is your assessment of uh, the mindset of people in the new year? Like, I know you're in sort of a remote area, but you venture out and so forth. Are you seeing people kind of optimistic? What's the sense you're getting from people emotionally?
I think people are sleepwalking. I mean, you know, we go into town quite often. We almost go into town every other day, and we meet lots of people. The reason I wasn't able to broadcast with you, by the way, was because the man in this ranch area who has the heavy machines and can really do real things, like I'm putting in a well and stuff, that he decided he was going to come over, and I was like, you know, it's like getting a call from the Godfather. You know, it's just like, but so I apologize for that, but
All right.
even that, you know, they were talking, you know, I was saying, don't you think the government, they were talking about, you know, like I'm being put into a position where I have to get permits and I have to dig a well and this kind of thing. And I have to, you know, my original intent was just like, screw the government. I'm not even going to register. But now I'm being kind of forced by these guys into like, okay, you have to put in a septic tank and this kind of thing. I don't know if we'll actually use the septic tank, but my point is that they're completely oblivious. Even, and these guys are in control here. And they said, you know, I said, don't you think things are going to be different after Trump is installed? And they said, yeah, they said on a national level, things may change, but here in this local, you know, this local province, they said nothing's going to change. Everything is written in stone. On the other hand, I have a friend in Prescott, Brian Best. He has something called Spiritual Bean Coffee, which I recommend everyone buy. It's an organic, you know, hand roasted coffees that he does himself. He's amazing, but he's a good friend of mine. But they are trying to open up a coffee shop in Prescott. They have been lobbying the government for a year and a half. They've been paying rent on this commercial property. And they told me this weekend, all of a sudden, the elected officials are like, oh, we want to help you set, you know, all of a sudden, I think with Trump's imminent return to visible power, I think he's always been in control, but we will see it. That suddenly the local governments are like, oh, you want to open up a shop because these guys are going to be out of work. In my opinion, this
Yeah.
whole bureaucracy, this whole fake world is gonna like burn up like the
Right.
Getty Museum. It's just going to be gone.
Well, Eli, once he's back in on the 19th, 20th or whatever, we're restoring the constitutional republic. So it's just going to completely disintegrate. And I'll bet you anything. Remember 4 years ago when the Biden came in, wherever he was, whoever that was, had a stack of executive orders. Remember, Trump said, when I'm back, it's like it never happened. And he's going to reverse all that crap, but he's going to put it out of the corporation into the constitutional republic and veer the exact opposite way. And we're going to see all these changes go, I think, much quicker than people either realize or know.
Yeah, I think January 6th was like a timeline shift that
Mm-hmm.
we got to repeat the same. Here we were back 4 years later, January 6th. The left did all this nonsense with trying to make it seem like it was a riot and all this other stupidity. But here we do 4 years later, and the whole Congress and Senate totally approved of Trump's election. So it was a chance to repair this gigantic lie that we've been living through for the last 4 years. We've been living a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, publicly it seemed like Biden was but you see it when he did that awards ceremony. You saw what a bunch of nincompoops these people. They're helpless. And they're not even, it's not even them anymore. I mean, I think
Right.
we have so many different generations of clones and actors, and George Soros, of course, I'm sure was executed a long time ago, but people are clinging to the old reality, and I understand why. Who would want to go down the rabbit holes that you and I have been going down for the last couple of years? Nobody would want that. Everyone wants to go back to, apple pie and grandma and Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
dinner with the big family and everybody gets along. But it will happen, but it's not going to look anything like, there's no going back. There's
No.
we're lunging forward rapidly into this incredible golden age. In my opinion, it's going to be amazing, without the pedophiles, without the child trafficking, without the money laundering, without the theft of the federal government has been perpetrating against us, and the lying Congress, and that are just merely puppets of this demonic evil force. I mean,
Mhm.
we're really, I mean, astrologically, we're coming into the age of Aquarius. We're
Mhm.
really launching, and I live in the Aquarius Mountains. I'm an Aquarian. That's my sun sign. So,
Okay.
and I'm like kind of like I remember the '60s. I was involved with that movement. So, it's the age of Aquarius, man. No, there's no going back. It's going to be amazing.
Well, it's funny, Eli, because my mom, who, as you remember years ago during the pandemic, kind of recommended you and kind of indirectly put us together. She's been saying that for years, Age of Aquarius. And I vaguely understood her, maybe not to the degree I do now, but I remember her saying that very saliently and very calmly. And now we're seeing a situation where that is definitely coming into to focus. And what I'm excited about, and I think you would agree, is we're going to have real stuff, real food, real relationships, no more of this disparate connection that people have been accepting as an intermediate connection. It's really not. Face to face again. Even with the use of technology, we can use it to implement the past, going back to the 50s. Real money, real body parts, real everything. No more manipulation. And people can try to bury the normies can try to bury their head in the sand all they want, but when they realize that it was all a lie and the past wasn't as great as they thought it was, as you said, there's no turning back. On a funny note, with your hat and the little farmer's outfit get up there, the overalls, you're looking kind of like between the Amish and then the Hebrew Mennonites. It's like kind of a funny throwback.
Yeah, my dear Danielle, she doesn't like me. I love my overalls. I mean, you can with overalls you can kneel in the dirt and you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting my pants dirty. It's just like
Right.
you can roll around in the dirt all day long, and it's but that kind of experience, I was telling you this before we got on, like I got to spend an hour or so doing things on the land with, shovels and drills and wood and cedar posts and and I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. We're 10 miles from the highway, but we've installed these 8 solar panels, and now we have, on a sunny day, unlimited electric power. We can't even use it all. And soon, and now we're planning to dig a well up on the mountain. This guy that came to give us advice, he looked at the spot all the way up on the highest part of my property, which is, it's like at 4,500 feet. And he said, "Hey man, there's two rivers underneath your land, on the top of the mountain." The well digger was afraid to come up there because the roads suck. The roads are, they're like this. They're like, it's like driving up a cliff, and there's no place to turn around. So what is the solution to that? The solution is this guy with the heavy machines, my friend Norm. He says, we're just going to knock this whole thing over, which I didn't really want to do. But I guess that what I'm trying to say is that there is a real world. There is land. There is getting your hands into on a shovel. I mean, this is, to me, getting food, even going to town, and we get food for, getting into town. But we're coming into an age where people will get to live again, and not spend their whole time worrying or doing stupid tasks that really have no meaning whatsoever. Just, I know myself as a teacher, I was never really allowed to teach. They did everything they could to make sure I didn't teach, and
Mhm.
they punished me every which way but loose. But we're coming into a reality, and it's just out here on the range, man. It's just, it's real deal stuff. I mean, the wind last night, we were afraid we're going to get blown off the mountain, but there is a real world, and it is, for me at least, it involves nature, involves music, it
Mhm.
involves um good relations.
Freedom.
I mean, it's freedom, man. I mean, I'm free to do whatever I want. I broadcast there. That's my, I consider my job, even though I don't get paid. It's just like, that's what I do. So,
Mhm.
and I invest. I think
Yeah.
I think taking control of your life with investments, that's why, you and I have that in common. It's just, I had some money in the bank. I was gonna give it to the well digger. I had like 8 grand in the bank. And yesterday, the timing wasn't good, but I said, let's get it out of the bank. Let's get this money out of the bank. Let's buy some more cryptos, some more XRP, XLM, Hedera hash graph. I mean, some coins that really have a really good function. And
Mhm.
if I had more money like that in the bank, I would buy more gold and silver. I'm kind of on the low end with gold and silver, but this is the real world. We're coming into, this whole masquerade that's been covering pedophilia and money laundering, like I said, just criminals running the world. That is about to end. It's amazing.
Yeah, and in short, Eli, people are going to be living their kingdom purpose and not just doing mundane tasks or working some crappy job to make someone else rich. They'll actually be in their purpose calling. So, yeah, well said. All right, let me show you a couple of slides of some of the stuff that we've got going on here, so you
Yeah,
know.
when's the dinar, man? Well, I'm waiting.
Ah,
I want to go to
yeah,
the bank and say, give me my, I have like
yeah.
2,500. So give me my money, man. I got to dig.
You're funny. Well, let me see what I can do to show you some stuff, and then we can work on that. So on the XRP side, we'll start with the cryptos and work backwards. So this happened last night. President Trump at the Winter Mar-a-Lago had dinner with Brad Garlinghouse, and you can see these gentlemen here. And it's
Yeah, who's the other guy?
S. Al Durati. It's one of the executives with him. I'm not sure if he's the CTO or on the
Uh-huh.
CIO side, but he's one of the key drivers for XRP.
Uh-huh.
So that's a great sign that they're in the White House, the real White House, and that
And
tells you XRP
the
is.
ship, the ship is sailing.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Ship has sailed. Good com. XRP is currently third right now in the most popular coin in terms of name recognition and sales. So we think at some point it's going to eclipse Bitcoin, which ultimately is the goal. And I'll show you this other one here with Canada. We know that he's going to make Canada the 51st state. There's a number of reasons for that. There's something, the USMCA, right? But ultimately, we think that's to set up the Amero, which is the Canada, US, Mexico. He's calling it the Gulf of America, to basically synergize that and create that away from China so that he has control of that, the America has control of that respective territory. But the real reason he wants Canada is because of their amounts of reserves. Canada urgently needs it. They're losing against the BRICS since they're not part of it. They're the second largest country by land mass, number one leading producer of potash, largest land mass on the planet, largest producer of uranium globally, one of the largest producers of gold globally alongside Zimbabwe. Number four, in proven crude oil reserves and production, natural gas, and nickel. So there's a lot literally that they bring to the table. Okay. And then I will switch you over here. This is regarding Zimbabwe. So Chamisa is starting to post again, which is exciting, talking about 2025. Here you have Marvin Guyan. I'm probably messing this up, but bear with me. Gudyanga, who is saying basically, behold, the new incoming leader of our nation, which you and I have talked about before, right? So a nice reprise there. Then we go to this. Now, this post was taken off last week, so we had to try to do a screenshot to reclamate some of it. But I'll tell you what I got of it. Hello, 2025. We're in, all glory be to God. Now, sometimes things are, there's doubles and comms, right? There are double entendres. May 2025 be a memorable, prosperous, and significant year for Zimbabwe and for the world, is what he said. But I just got in my spirit, May 2025. Could that be when he's coming back? Seems pretty plausible, because that would be along the timeline when President Trump is talking about the national jubilee, right? From Memorial Day this year all the way to the 4th of July next year, which is about a year and a quarter. So there's something to me, very significant about that. Then we go to this. This is breaking news as of last week. Xi Jinping talking about Taiwan is part of China, that the people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are one family. No one can stop our family ties and unification. So,
John, I'm not seeing the pictures. I'm still on Zimbabwe.
oh, okay. Let me try that again. Sorry. Let me see if I can.
Oh, that happens to me all the time.
No, you're good. Let me see if I can.
There we go.
Okay, so this was the one I was talking about a second ago before I switch over. So you can see what he said there. It's not much to it because of what we're able to get. Hopefully, you should see the China Taiwan now.
I'm still seeing Nelson.
Okay, let me try that then and see if I can get to it. So basically, he's talking about, for some reason, it's not, I don't know why it's doing that. It's always fun when technical stuff doesn't go our way. Let's try this. This should work better because I have it queued up.
There you go.
Yeah, sometimes anyway, basically what he's saying is that the inevitability of China merging Taiwan is going to happen. Now, we don't believe this year that's going to be a massive war or anything like that. It'll be a short invasion. Enough, as I've told you before, to free Vietnam up out of communism, enough to break the Vietnamese dong free. Because you have to realize, Eli, that Iraq and China and Vietnam are partners. So they could be sort of competing and vying for, we think still that Iraq's going to go first, but Vietnam will be shortly thereafter. Remember, Russia and China have memorandums of understandings with both of those countries and very close ties. So it's in their best interest for both of them to go, not to mention Trump for that matter. We know he has a skid pallet of dinar and a ton of dong as well. So all the major powers that be that comprise the underpinning of BRICS, or the baseline of the ownership of BRICS, have a vested interest in this happening, was really what I was trying to convey there. Let me see if I can show you. There was one other thing I wanted to show you. This is from Majid. This is as of yesterday. Iraq stock market gets regulated to follow international law. CBI launching remittance in the auction. They'll start selling ICD bonds. Yesterday was Christmas for the Orthodox Christmas in the Jubilee calendar. So pardon the language there. But basically yesterday, the banks were getting back to work, and that's obviously significant. And so really all we're waiting for is what we think is that they're coordinating it for Trump's return. They can drop the rate in the Gazette. Will go on Forex, then it'll make its way to the international marketplace, and this thing will take off. But everything is kind of bottlenecking up right to this apex point in short parlance.
Those are some amazing things. And so, yeah, so will the Zim bonds still have power? They changed the
Yes.
name. They'll
They,
still,
they'll, as I said before, they're going to get tucked under the ZIG dollars, which are gold backed, along with the gold digital coin. So when he comes back in, he'll just tuck the Zim bonds in as one currency and make it go. So yeah, they'll have tremendous value. Absolutely.
that's funny. My revolver is a SIG.
Well, there you
SIG,
go.
SIG 365.
Exactly. So
Yeah, we're but just not to change the subject, but
no, you're fine.
Danielle and I have taken a course so we can have a concealed carry. We can carry our weapons across some state lines, not into California or New York, but
Well, Trump is talking about a national conceal and carry. So I think that's going to be changing as well,
yeah,
because
yeah.
even as we both know, there's a lot more conservatives in both of those states than what they want to admit to. So again, it's going to be a brave new world, to your earlier point. So
It's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm just like thinking in terms of my own selfish needs. You know, I need money for my excavation, and I'm planning to build a house up there. So, you know, I think this is for me. It's a metaphor of where we're going as like as a a species, that I was afraid to look at the top of my mountain because it's just too high. The roads are terrible. You can't get up there. And here somebody comes, a professional comes and he goes, no, no. He says, the water's up there. We're gonna make it livable. And I think that's a great metaphor for where we are as like for in the world. Like most people are just would love to just get some relief from the fear and the you know the economic oppression, really, spending all your time trying to make ends meet, which is almost in my mind it's impossible. The deck is set against you, but that we are going to come out of this with, like you said, with people living up to their purpose, with people living beyond their wildest dreams, in my opinion.
oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. We're going to go from basically from lack to abundance, and the whole system will juxtapose. And he's going to start creating instantaneous relief with, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and then just eliminate the tax altogether. You'll start lowering the price at the pump, at the grocery store. So you'll start to see some scaled down relief in terms of the overall population landscape to help people get a little bit of bit by bit, a little bit of relief as he, turns up the heat with the prosperity and the juxtaposition of the new economic system. So it's going to be, I think, quicker than people. We've been waiting a while, obviously, but we're not in control of that stuff. That's, and for as much as people complain, and I understand some of it, you have to have a long range view of gratitude in this, because we're still here when many were not. And it's our strength in working together, and your mindset is going to be the most important thing that's going to pull you through this. And being grateful for what you have will actually show the Lord to begets you getting more. So when the abundance comes in, God knows he can trust you with it. So I think it's a scale or a step up process.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, the idea of currency, of the flow of currency, that I think it says in Judaism that we don't consider, like when somebody has a lot of money, it's just that God trusts them with the money. And they're just holding it for for the, in my opinion, to have that kind of flow. So you can help others, you can build what you want to build,
Yep.
and there are no limitations. I want to also, I just want to give a brief like kudos to you, and just, you know, that you kept me you know, we've been doing this every month. There is no other broadcaster who has sought me out at all, and I think I've had a very consistent message for five, you know, like 5 years I've been doing this. I had you know, I had a lot of followers on YouTube. They've taken me down 12 times. But I just wanted to just thank you for being persistent and consistently, you know, every month we meet. You're the only one
Mm.
in this you know, electronic environment that's really reached out to me. And so thank your mom for putting us together, and thank you for doing this every month. Yeah, you're very brave. Not everyone has the courage to even, like, you know, deal with me whatsoever.
Well, you're a good man, you're a mensch, and I don't like some of the. You're welcome. I don't like some of the negativity that I've seen from people. I think it's frankly fairly anti-Semitic, and I don't enjoy that. And I know God doesn't enjoy that. But he'll deal with them. But no, you're welcome. I've always enjoyed our brotherhood, our friendship, and I think this proves and extenuates that just because our interpretation of the faith may be different doesn't mean that we have to be against each other or divergent, that there's room for the discussion and the conversation, and that respect and your heart, your faith, your faith and your heart are intertwined, but at the same time, regardless of your faith, your integrity can still abound, and you've always had that, in my opinion, and you've always been an upstanding guy, and I think you've been transparent, and you provide a nice complement to what we do, and hopefully vice versa. And I'm sad to hear that others haven't taken advantage of that, but I also think that will change in the new season as well.
Yeah, I hope so. I think everything's going to change. I mean, it has to. I mean, because we're coming into a new reality, and not everyone even understands the magnitude, like I said, of this. Like when you see President Trump with Brad Garlinghouse and the other guy in front of a sailing ship, a ship full of wind, you know, a huge ship, that the ship is, you know, that this whole magnificent golden age of humanity, the Aquarian age, like your mom says, it's it's going to be amazing. It's just a couple of weeks away. We've been waiting so patiently for
Yeah,
so many years. It's going to be amazing.
absolutely. Well, Eli, as we wrap up, good brother, last thoughts you have for the audience, and where can people find your work to date?
Okay, so I'm on X is eWebstar13. On YouTube. I still have a YouTube channel. I don't know how, but maybe the White Hats are cleaning up the YouTube a bit. But that's Ellie. Is it Ellie Webstar 13, I believe? And on Rumble, I'm Kabbalah Guru. So those are three good places. But you know, yeah, stay in touch. I do a broadcast 6 days a week, except for Shabbos, and we've been doing this for years. We have a nice community, people, like-minded community. I saw a post this morning that was giving kudos to all the small broadcasters, and they were saying that a lot of us are okay with not having the huge audience or the huge following or the even the income, because we're dedicated to the message of saving humanity, and
Yeah.
you can't put a price on that. I mean, it's just you know, my shtick is to broadcast every day, whether I feel like it or not, and um I wouldn't do it any other way, and I know you're the same.
Yeah, well, we do what we have to do, and some days are better than others, but you stay with it. Like you said, the persistence is the key. And just a back thought before I finish my end is that as a Christian, we're supposed to honor Israel. God's, you're the chosen ones, and the true Jews, which you know what we're talking about. So on that end, that's part of the honor and the persistence with you, other than just liking you, is honoring the lineage. That's really important. It's a way for me to show God the honor and respect that he deserves. So just on that. But for your audience, my audience, if anybody is looking for the different foreign currencies, dinar, dong, zim, yes, the Venezuelan bolivar, Thai baht, and many, many others, Colombian peso, to be sure. or you just want to add to the cashier position, we do have a good company to work with, and we will leave that link in the description. Eli Weber, good brother and Mitch, good to see you. Look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future. Have fun out there in those overalls, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, God bless, John. Thanks so much.
God bless, brother.